Hey guys, and welcome to another video about personal finance. In this video, I want to explain to you why your savings rate is more important than how much money you make. What if we asked random people off the street if they were saving enough? How would they respond? Well, most people would probably say that they should be saving more. However, despite knowing they should be saving more, most people have little in savings. In fact, most people would struggle to pay an unexpected expense. A recent survey by Bankrate concluded that only 40% of Americans could cover an unexpected $1,000 expense. If we question them further, they would tell us that they don't know how much they really should be saving. So how much should you be saving? Well, that depends on several factors. First and foremost, we need to know what you are saving for. Maybe you're saving for the down payment to buy a house. Maybe you are saving for a dream wedding or a dream vacation. Maybe you are just saving to pay off your student loans or credit card debt. But the one thing everyone knows that they should be saving for is retirement. However, I don't really think that people should be saving for retirement. I know, that sounds a little ridiculous, but hear me out. Let me explain. What comes to mind when you hear the word retirement? Traveling the world? Sipping Mai Tais on the beach? Maybe you want to play golf on those perfect summer days. Those all sound like great ways to spend retirement. Well, okay, I'm not really a golf person, so that last one sounds boring to me, but I bet we all want to be free from our cubicles, free from the 9-to-5 grind. However, your retirement could look very different from the one I just described. Maybe you need to work a part-time job just to make ends meet. Maybe you can't afford your favorite hobbies or pastimes you enjoy, and you can't find the time or money to go on vacation. I'm sure this scenario doesn't sound like the golden years you were hoping for, but for many people, that is retirement. So what separates the two scenarios? What's the difference between the golf-playing margarita-sipping scenario and just barely scraping by? Well, the answer is pretty clear. The people who get to live out that dream retirement are financially independent, while those stuck barely getting by are not. This is why I don't think saving for retirement is a good goal. It's not specific enough. Instead, people should be saving for financial independence, because if they are financially independent, then they can retire when they are ready to do so. So here's the big takeaway for this video. Financial independence, not retirement, is what we should be saving for. So, how exactly do we measure financial independence if that's what we're saving for? Well, the FIRE community uses the 4% rule. So what is the 4% rule? Generally speaking, the 4% rule means that you can withdraw 4% of your initial savings per year and adjust that amount each year based on inflation without risk of running out of money over a 30-year period. Simply put, you need to invest 25 times your yearly expenses before you are financially independent. Once you have saved up this much money, you can withdraw 4% per year and cover your expenses without much risk of losing everything. Let's put some numbers to the 4% rule. To begin, you need to know your yearly expenses. This covers everything. It covers your rent, your food, and it covers all your subscriptions, even the ones you've forgotten about, from your Netflix account to your gym membership. The 4% rule does not work if you don't include all of your expenses. Let's say that your yearly expenses are $25,000. To be financially independent, you would need to have saved a nest egg of $625,000. This number is known as your FI or FI number. Once you have your FI number saved and invested, you are financially independent. Since you can withdraw 4% in your first year, you can withdraw $25,000 to pay for expenses. For the second year, you can withdraw that $25,000 plus an adjustment for inflation. If the rate of inflation is 2%, that would mean you can withdraw an extra $500 for a total of $25,500. Each year, your withdrawal amount increases to keep in line with inflation. Now let's be real. If you are someone who would be struggling to pay that unexpected $1,000 expense I mentioned earlier, then saving $625,000 must seem like a daunting task. You might be asking, how do you save that much money? How long does it take? The truth is, how long it takes depends directly on your savings rate, not your income. Don't get me wrong, having a high income makes it easier to have a high savings rate, but if you save half your income, it takes the same amount of time to save up your FI number whether you earn $30,000 a year or you earn $500,000 a year. Let's look at an example. Person A, how about we call them Luke, makes $250,000 a year and spends it all. He will never become financially independent. Luke has nothing left at the end of the year and will never have saved anything. At this rate, no matter how many years Luke works, he will never have saved 25 times his expenses. Since Luke is spending his entire $250,000 a year income, he would need $6.25 million as his nest egg to be financially independent. Now, person B, how about we call them Laura, makes $50,000 a year. Laura lives off half of it and saves the rest. Laura saves 1 year of expenses each year. Ignoring the effects of compound interest, she would have 25 times her expenses in 25 years. Now, Laura makes 1/5 the amount of Luke, yet despite the differences in income, Laura achieves financial independence and Luke never does. So what is the takeaway here? Your savings rate determines how soon you can retire, not how much money you make. So how long does it take to retire? If you save 10% of your income and spend the other 90%, it will take the same amount of time to save up 25 times your expenses, regardless of how much you make. It doesn't matter if you make $50,000 a year or $250,000 a year. At a savings rate of 10%, it would take you 9 years to have saved up 1 year of expenses. This means it would take 225 years to save up 25 years of expenses. Now that's a really long time. I certainly don't plan to be working that long, and I get the feeling that you don't either. But don't worry, it won't actually take 225 years to achieve financial independence with a 10% savings rate. Assuming you invest the money at a 7% annual return, it would only take around 42 years to reach FI. Now that sounds a lot better than the 225 years. This is the power of compound interest. Now, taking the effects of compound interest into account, let's see how much you need to save. Let's say you want to retire in 30 years. You would need a savings rate of 20%. How about 20 years? Well, then you would need to crank up your savings rate to 40%. If you want to retire in only 10 years, you need an amazing 65% savings rate. This graph shows the relationship between savings rate and how long it takes to achieve financial independence. The vertical axis shows us how many years it would take to reach FI. The horizontal axis shows us the savings rate. The blue line is savings only without the effects of compounding over time. The red line includes saving with the power of compound interest. Interestingly, the higher your savings rate, the less compounding interest really helps you to achieve your FI number. Instead, your savings does the heavy lifting. This table shows the same data as the graph but in tabular form. What is your savings rate? It's never too late to start saving a little bit more. Is it enough to reach financial independence before you want to retire? Comment down below what your savings rate is. If you like this kind of content and would like me to produce more, please like the video and subscribe to this channel.